Did you know that marketing is a global industry worth over $1.65 trillion? More importantly, it's a profession that touches the lives of everybody, almost every aspect of life, all over the world. That includes your life. And as a result, there's a lot to be learned from it. We all see, hear, and act on the influence of thousands of messages every day. Ultimately, marketing powers our choices and decisions, whether people know it or not, whether you like it or not. This video explores 4 fundamentals of great marketing and how you can carry these lessons with you into everyday life. This isn't just for professional marketers, it's for everyone who wants to be more aware and in control of their choices. So let's get into it. Number 1, nobody cares. The starting point for any good marketer is understanding that nobody is really interested in your product or service. People don't love brands, despite what people might claim or say about brands like Apple. People might respect, prefer, enjoy, or even be addicted to their phone, for example. But it doesn't mean they love it or think of it beyond the purposes that it serves in their life. People love family, friends, pets, maybe their sports team. People care about their holiday plans or if their kid is happy at nursery. People are invested in whether or not their job is going well, or if their neighbours are going to throw another noisy party this Saturday. But when it comes to model X, Y, Z of a particular brand, it's just there, serving a job for them. More of that in a second. Marketing exists to reinforce ideas, shallow feelings, and keep brands at the front of mind in moments they might be wanted most, and then obviously bought as a result. These are all the entry points for a brand in people's lives, and it's a gradual process to embed yourself. Ultimately, brands are a tiny fraction of someone's mental capacity and thoughts. So in life, as in marketing, remember to check yourself, and always remember that you are and should be the person to think the most about you. No one else will ever come close. So take responsibility for that. Speaking of looking out for number 1, it would be a massive help if you like this video to actually hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this in the future. I'm still new to this, and your support will mean we can all grow together. Now back to the second point. Number 2, don't confuse the job to be done with what you need to do the job. When it comes to brands and products, they exist to serve us. As Harvard marketing professor Theodore Levitt is often quoted as saying, people don't want a quarter-inch drill, they want a quarter-inch hole. Marketing doesn't exist to raise awareness of the need for more holes, but to give people an opinion and an instinct of which brand of drill will give them the best and great value hole. Over the years, I've seen countless briefs asking for their advertising to help a specific audience of people think this is the utility brand for them or feel positive about this type of mobile phone brand. But they forget that ultimately the job to do is probably much narrower, and that they would have a lot more success recognizing that the job is actually to make people think that this specific mobile phone brand has the best camera in that particular price bracket for those sorts of photos that they probably want. And it's no different when you're setting yourself goals in your life. When you're trying to get healthy, don't make the job eat well and move more. That isn't going to work. The drill you need is healthier snacks and some exercise. But your quarter-inch hole job to be done should be far more specific. For example, lose X pounds and be able to run 5 kilometers. Focus on the job to do rather than the tools needed, and you're far more likely to succeed. So set your goals accordingly. Which brings me to my next point. Number 3, set clear briefs briefly. A great brief is the start of any great marketing. It's how teams pass objectives, challenges, and tasks through a line of specialists, teams, and agencies, ensuring they ladder back up to a common goal, right from the CEO all the way down to your web designer or retail assistant. They work best when they're short, punchy, and say less. Writing a great brief is a whole other video, but in short, they should include: what do you want to achieve and why? What key info do you have to guide how this could be done? What restrictions exist to work within? Time, budget, legal things, that kind of stuff. What else is relevant to this task that may influence the answer or outcome? Most marketers write terrible briefs with bad or even no objectives. A 2022 study showed that 3 out of every 4 agencies believe briefs from their clients are not good enough. Given how critical they are to the process, I find that pretty astounding. But based on experience, not surprising. And they are often long, usually because there's not been enough time taken to think about what matters most, what will have the biggest impact. They include everything, and therefore often nothing that is very useful. And that's not much different from life. I once did some major renovations on my house, but for a long list of reasons, ended up with very light touch plans. Ultimately, it meant that the builders made some pretty big blunders and exec choices that we still live with to this day. Long story short, what should have been a 4-month project became an 8-9 month expensive nightmare. By not taking the time to set a proper brief, we ended up with some pretty stressful consequences. And on the topic of dodgy builders, brings us to our 4th and final point. Number 4, choose the right experts and listen to them. In the marketing industry, it's normal for companies to go through large, time-intensive pitch processes to find a new agency. They push and squeeze suppliers to deliver incredible ideas at incredible value and breakneck speed, all in service of finding the absolute best they can afford. Then they often work with them for a few years under that agreement and go through the whole process again, changing agency again about half the time. But there are 2 common, often repeated mistakes. First, they squeeze on cost to the point that it makes delivering a great service very difficult after an agency has won the pitch. Good work takes time and experience. Both are expensive. Those in pursuit of quality should be prepared to pay accordingly for the standard they expect. Secondly, despite such a rigorous and time-consuming process, a company's marketing team will then sometimes spend the next few years overruling, undermining, or just not listening to them, either with poor briefs or by telling them what they think the answer should be based on hunch and gut feel. There is another way to approach this, though, which anyone can carry with them into their daily life, and it isn't complicated. Just 3 steps, in fact. First, spend time finding the right expert. Don't rush it, and watch out for getting sold to. The more important the task, the longer this process should be. Set them a good question with specific goals and details. Be open-minded and curious about their answer, rather than presumptuous and defensive about their ideas. Whether it's a plumber, a personal trainer, a private chef, a new employee, whoever, spend time up front getting it right. Then trust that yesterday you was smart enough to take the hassle out of today you's problems. And that's my list of how life is just like marketing and why you should carry the lessons with you every day. To recap, always remember that nobody will ever care about you and what you want as much as you. Of course, you can have an influence and people will help along the way, but never think people will care as much as you do. 2, don't confuse the job to be done with the tools you need to do the job. Set specific goals that motivate and create change, then find the tools to achieve them. 3, take the time to write a tight brief for those around you. Life is full of choices and most of us can't have it all, so prioritize. I promise you'll feel the benefits. And finally, 4, spend time and effort choosing the right experts to advise you or do a job. Then trust in that choice and allow those experts to do what they do best. I hope you enjoyed this and can keep these lessons in mind. Don't make the same mistake millions of others do, and start making life that bit easier for yourself. If you liked this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and watch out for more content in the future. See you next time.